Hi guys, welcome to Soulful Guide and welcome to my home. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. And as you can tell from the title of the video, 7 steps to connect to you, self-love. And so I want to talk about self-love because there's just so much that is going on around the world, so much things are happening and everybody have a different perspective of self-love. Sometimes we get very hard on ourselves about self-love, or we get hard on each other or people or whatever. But I want to narrow this down into a few simple steps that I found that was very enlightening for me to actually do that allow me to feel on myself and to connect with myself at another level. So we're going to talk about it. So let's start. Number 1, self-awareness. What makes you you? What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? The things that you love to do. When you think about self-love, I want you to think about getting in the motion, in the notion, in the ocean of doing that. Sorry, I'm just rhyming. Please forgive me. But get into the rhythm of who you are. And even though you may have weakness, because we all have weaknesses and we all have things that we need to work on. Once you get into the motion of actually being aware of yourself, that's gonna open you up to understanding what love is and how to love yourself and how to give yourself. Because the truth of the fact of the matter is, if you don't really love yourself, you can't really give love. Even though everybody requires love at some different level. I can't love my spouse the way he loves me, but we can flow on the same frequency. His love and how he expresses his love not necessarily is going to be the way how I express. So the first step is to have self-awareness. Be aware of who you are and the things that you like, and don't get tangled into the things that others are doing when they're doing their self-love. Okay? Number 2, invest in yourself. I always say you cannot pour an empty cup into another, and that is something that I'll forever say to my clients and to my family and to my friends and even to myself. I have to take time out to actually refill and replenish, rejuvenate, and relax. We need to make sure that we invest in ourselves, and this can look like going to the gym. If you don't have access to a gym, doing some exercise. YouTube is there. When you exercise or invest in your health, it's going to overall help you to have those feel good endorphins. Okay? And so when you invest in yourself, it doesn't necessarily have to be buying new stuff, even though that's a part of it. But I want you to recognize that it's an inner work. Self-love is going in. It's investing in the internals that will overall help you to feel and be your best self. Okay? So invest in fitness, invest in the way you eat, your way of thinking, your mental health. I like to tell my clients, do some exercise. If you have a really busy schedule or you don't have a gym, do it at home. At least twice per week, make a healthy meal, right? Your mental health is very important in investing into yourself. Sorry. Do some meditation. Sit still for a while, because when you do that, you allow time to just go by while you're just sitting, and that's very important. Even though time is going, you still need to be very mindful of who you are. And to truly love yourself, you have to invest in yourself. Number 4, I want you to change your perspective. Change your perspective on life. So many of us, me including me, go through life with thinking that this is the way, this is the way, this is the truth, this is the life. And sometimes that's not even the half of it, because we were taught to be this when we're actually that. And so I want you to recognize that changing your perspective will actually help you to attract more of the things that make sense to you. Because even though I know that there's no real bad and good, it's just perspective on how we choose to be. And when you recognize in itself that the bad things, the experiences that you have, help to shape you or taught you some really stern, strong lesson, I want you to also recognize that that in itself will allow you to give yourself love, because it's not about beating yourself consistently. Our society is that we need to get it right, we don't need to fail. Change that. Number 4, change your perspective. And I think this is one of my biggest self-love tips, is to change your perspective. Don't be narrow-minded when you're looking on things. Things happen for a reason, and they do happen for a season, and you have the ability to change the way how you view it. It's not always necessary that it's bad or it's good. It's probably just for a season that you're going to experience that. So when you think about self-love, you have to open your heart to looking at things from a different angle, right? Right. Number 4, get rid of negative people. When I say that, I don't want you to pack up and run away from people that are mean. I want you to think about what it is that you want. And when you think about what it is that you want in your life, these people will begin to have less impact on your life. And it's true that there's this saying that says you are who you spend like your top 5 people that you spend most of your time with, you actually become. So think about what you want. I, for example, had a very life-changing experience with a friend of mine that I think that I needed to have in my life forever, and I recognized how much the things that this person was doing was causing hurt, was causing pain, and when I was vibrating on a different frequency, I had to let that person go, because I recognized that it was not benefiting my entire well-being. And so sometimes these people come, as I think I did make a video about 3 reasons why people come in your life. Some of them come because they're your soulmate. They come because and I'm gonna make a link. I'm gonna put a link. If you have not watched that video, I'm gonna put a link below so that you can actually watch that video. And so get rid of people, not to cut them off or to just be mean, but in a loving way, because you are created to love. So it's not about cutting people off and bashing people or treating people bad. It's just that you're elevating, you're growing, you're vibrating differently, and these people cannot go with you, right? And so I want you to recognize that you have the power to give and to get love. And also, when you have these people in your life that is vibrating differently, it will kind of cut you off from seeing what you need to do for yourself personally. And so getting rid of people is not saying throw them in the trash or just be bad or mean to them. No, it's actually choosing. Do you want to be around this person? Do I want this? Does my heart want this anymore? Is it this person is supposed to be here right now? So getting rid of people not necessarily is a bad thing. It's choosing yourself sometimes, which is a form of self-love, but not being mean to them. Okay. Number 5, dream big. And I tell myself this all the time. We are in a society that tells us that we need to go hard, we need to do this, we need to do that. But our dreams and our passion is tied to what's really in our hearts. And so when I say dream big, what's in your heart? What is it that you want to come out? What is it that you're thinking about? And a lot of that is tied into your purpose, even though your purpose change with time. I can tell you that I used to love cooking, and then I used to love art and craft, and then I used to love sewing, and then I used to love, and so give yourself that space that if you dream big and you achieve this thing and you feel like it's time to move on, it's okay. You don't have to dwell on this thing or this dream forever. I have long-term dreams, we have short-term dreams. It's okay to have both of them because they're necessary for us as human beings. Things that are immediate and things that are way ahead for like 2-3 years. Okay, so give yourself that gift to dream big and stay focused on them for a period of time. Not because they're not coming through, it doesn't mean that they're not necessarily meant for you. Give yourself that space to dream big because you deserve it. A part of love, a part of having that love in your life is to have the things that you desire, which is your dreams. They're meant to come true. They're dreamed for a reason, and so work at them consistently. Think about them, but not in a way that will cause you to be burdened or stressed or worried. Okay, focus on them. Not necessarily mean every single day you're going to be doing this. Whatever it is that you need to do in order to give yourself that, because it's a part of having self-love and being aware of who you are and who you are created to be. Number 6, forgiveness. And I'm going to flip it a little. Forgiveness. Unforgiveness is like, I saw this post some years ago, where it's like drinking poison and expecting that other person to die. And so what I want to say to you is that make sure that you're forgiving yourself. Make sure you're forgiving others, because if you are not forgiving yourself, you're not truly loving yourself. And I know that that might be very hard for some of us based on what has happened, and we are all gone through something in life that allowed us to shrink back or to have unforgiveness. Me too. I've had a lot and lots of unforgiveness. I had unforgiveness for people who I thought meant me really good, but they were operating from a position of what they were going through. And I had to recognize, no, that I have to give myself that, because forgiveness is for me. Forgiveness is for you. So whomever it is that you need forgiveness with, take daily action, love steps to give yourself that. And even if you don't get an apology from that mother, from that father, from that spouse, from that friend, always remember that it starts with you. You are important. And when it comes on to self-love, whatever is important for you in that current moment, not necessarily cutting off people or being mean to people, but make sure that you're doing it in the light where love still radiates around you, right? And so I want to say that because forgiveness has been like the number one thing that keeps us from truly loving ourselves. Okay? And number 7, the last one, connect to you. And I want to say, use tools that will help you feel your best self. So if it is going, for me, it's going to nature, it's lighting my intention candles, it's using the soaps that are healthy, it's washing my hair, it's curling it up, the things that makes you, connect to that. If it is painting, if it is dressing up really sexy, if it is for men, buying equipments, buying a speaker, buy whatever it is that makes you feel you, connect to that at whatever it costs. Okay? And remember that you're important and you need to love yourself, because you cannot actually love anybody else until you love yourself. And it's not necessarily that we'll never love somebody the way that we want to love them or the way that they want us to love them, but we should focus on giving ourselves love, not being selfish or daunting or angry when you're doing it, but in the flow that recognize I really can't give my kids love if I don't give myself that, if I don't know how to bathe and take care of myself and be gentle with myself, speak to myself, and all of those things. So I hope those tips were useful for you. They are definitely useful for me, and it was such a great pleasure to create this for you, and I hope that you like it. And if you do, let me know how you feel and if you're willing to try these steps. And yeah, see you in my next video. Peace and love. Mwah.